Welcome to Changing Your Mental State. I'm Dan Gonzalez, peak performance coach and the author of the international bestseller in sports psychology and personal success, The Art of Mental Training, a guide to performance excellence, available on Amazon. I want to share with you a very powerful technique straight out of neuro-linguistic programming. It's all about changing your mental state. Now, in the book, I have a story, a true story, about a wrestler that approached me at a tournament right before he was supposed to go in for a very important match, but he was in a totally disempowered state. He lacked confidence. He was fearful. He had all kinds of anxiety because he was going to be meeting up with the #1 seeded wrestler in the entire tournament. He was a seasoned senior who was accustomed to annihilating his opponents, and here he is, a freshman, just breaking into that level of competition. So anyways, he comes over to me and he's fearful, he's nervous, he's anxious, he's tense, he's a total mental mess, and he says, "Coach, help me. What do I need to do?" So what we needed to do was we needed to change his mental state, which is what this video is all about. Look, our thoughts create the emotions and feelings that equal our mental state. So I had to deal with what was going through his head in an effort to change his mental state. Now, to change your mental state, we got to focus on three main elements, all right? The first element, the self-talk of a champion. I needed for him to get going through his head the self-talk of a champion. So I said, listen, here's what we're going to do. Ask yourself then, what would be the self-talk of a champion as that champion prepared for competition? And I took him aside and I said, listen, if you were a great champion with tons of experience at this level, if you had an incredible record, and if you were at the top of your game where no one could touch you, what would your self-talk sound like as you prepared to go into this match? All right? So I gave him some ideas, things like I'm strong, I'm fast, I dominate, I control the match, I'm powerful, I beat my opponent, I take charge, I'm ready, I keep going, I don't let up, I'm tougher, I'm stronger, I'm better trained. All right? This is self-talk, the self-talk of a champion getting ready to do battle. I told him, here's what I want you to do. For a minute, I want you to pretend you're this champion in your mind and walk around right here, firing off the self-talk of a champion preparing to do battle. Right now, you got a minute. Start doing it. And he did, and he followed my instructions, and that's immediately what he started to do. And I watched him, because for a minute, I started to address changing his emotions and feelings to change his mental state by having him incorporate inside his head the self-talk of a champion getting ready to do battle. After about a minute, I called him over and I said, good, that's very good. Now I want you to use a second element in this process of transformation that we're doing. The body movements of a champion. How would that champion be moving? What would he be doing as he warmed up? And at the same time, as he warmed up for this match, I want you to keep that same self-talk of a champion going. Do it. You got another minute. Let's go. He was following my instructions because he wanted to change his mental state, and that was what we were working at. Off he went. So for another minute now, I see him warming up, going through moves, and he's got the self-talk of a champion going and the body movements going, and about a minute later I call him over and I say, that's great. And he's starting to look like this champion, and I said, look, let's add the breathing of a champion. How would this champion be breathing right now as he gets ready for his competition? Keep the self-talk going, keep the body movements of that champion going, and add the breathing of a champion. Go. How is that champion breathing as he prepares? And I'm watching him transform into this champion because he's got this mental process going through his head, and he's changing his mental state by using the self-talk of a champion, the body movement of a champion preparing for battle, and now the third element, the breathing of a champion preparing for battle. So after about 3 or 4 minutes, I call him over and he's ready to walk onto the mat, and he's totally prepared to perform at the level of proficiency that he's really capable of. He got himself out of his own way mentally, and all of a sudden his self-belief is up here, his self-confidence is up here, and he performed like a champion because he transformed into that champion using these three elements and understanding that's how we do it. Now, you can start using this right away for whatever type of performance that you are involved in, right? But now let me tell you, there is a course on the artofmentaltraining.com that I created called the Performance Edge Mental Training Course. It's about 7 hours, 5 phases of training. It's an immediate audio download. And once you buy it, it's on your device and it's there for constant reinforcement. It's there for you to use whenever you want. I coach you through not only techniques and workshops like this, but the body of knowledge, so you can bring the body of knowledge, learn how to use it to enhance your performance. Now, imagine this, because this is what we'll do in that workshop. We take all this, which you can start using right away, but we add physical anchors and trigger words. And what's that mean? I teach you by going through the workshop and bringing you up to state over and over again. I teach you how to attach physical anchors and trigger words to that state. So then you not only use this technique to create the state, but you're able to use physical anchors and trigger words to bring up that state on demand, many times much quicker, because now your brain has a neural conditioning to that mental state based on the physical anchors and trigger words. Powerful stuff. I want to teach you this and much, much more. So be sure to visit theartofmentaltraining.com and the Performance Edge Mental Training course.